Hey, what's up, guys? Toogie here, back again. A somewhat tired and somewhat raspy-ish, sore throat-ish kind of Toogie here, back again with another episode of A Nation United, Finland edition. So yeah, it's weird because it's a playoff episode. Normally we try to bring a little bit more hype to the table. This one, though, I gotta keep the voice in check. I feel like I'm starting to walk close to that line, teetering on that line of, I could end up with a sore throat, which would suck. So I'm going to try to not overdo it, but we are in the second round against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Hooray! So things are looking good. The team didn't exactly fire on all cylinders in the first round. Obviously, Kasper Simon-Teval, who's a notorious slow starter in the playoffs, he yet again lived up to that hype, to that reputation, to that expectation at this point. But, the fact we made it out of the first round, despite players not exactly doing tremendously well, it's a pretty good sign, all things considered. I gotta be honest, you kind of know what to expect with our defense and our goaltending, of course, but what we don't know what to expect, what we don't know what to expect, what we don't do, what we don't want to do, what we don't know. The Columbus Blue Jackets, facing them in the second round. This is their team, and it's good. It's not amazing, but that's the type of team you lose to in the playoffs all the time. They have Sergei Glebov, 25th overall in 2022, 96 offensive awareness and a good skater. That's unfortunate. Pierre-Luc Dubois, who's a 91 at this point, and Artemi Panarin stayed in Columbus. Do you believe in miracles? At 3 points. And of course, that first round sweep. Second round, Yuri Svitov, who went 9th overall in the extra draft at, God, who the hell did we take? It was some dude who actually had the real-life name that an NHLer had in that 2018, that extra 2018 draft, and he did not stick around. So, Alex Wennberg, Yanni Gord, Vander Kane, Elias Anderson, Willie Keeler. Willie! A computer-generated player named Willie. You don't see that every day. 5th-round pick of a grinder. Turned into a bit of a beast. That low potential again. Max Langleader. The 30th overall pick. Man, there's some different names. I'm seeing some computer... perfect time. Middle of June to see computer-generated names that I haven't seen all year. We have Oliver Lawson Tossum. Which again... Having been reminded recently that Don Cherry once legitimately called Oliver Ekman-Larsson Oliver Lawson Tossum on a coach's corner. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. So anytime I see OEL, I think Lawson Tossum now. It's amazing. But at 36 years old, still a decent 82. Seth Jones at an 88. Werenski at 87. Carlson at an 83. Doug Timmins. Every team needs a good Doug. And Ryan Murray, so their defense stayed relatively the same. It's an experienced defense. That's my nice way of not calling them old. The goaltender, 88 overall, Valeri Filatov, who just ripped the first team he faced in the first round to shreds. He was also from that 2018 draft, Joe Rebektic, who is a real-life player. I don't remember what team he plays for in the L. I want to say North Bay, but I'm honestly not sure, so I won't say for sure. Josh Anderson and Adam Pelech, the healthy scratches. Yet again, I think we're in a situation where we are probably the better team, but will we get it done in the playoffs? That is the question. I want to see what the ratings are. 97, yeah, we're the better team. And no, I still didn't put a logo on the jersey. How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? Oh, I didn't even change the alternate last year. Look at that. Yeah, I might make an alternate at some point. I wish there was just a better logo, and again, maybe even just generic text, or being able to use a flag would be great. Granted, people would find a way to abuse that, I'm sure, but then you just, EA could just ban those accounts, right? Right. That'd be cool, at least from an online perspective. So, we always got to think of the negative as to why EA doesn't have it, but I should just be able to slap a Finnish flag onto that. Obviously, being able to have custom text would be nice, but then people would be racist and shit and ruin it for everybody. Anyway, let's get this underway, shall we? Round 2, Game 1 against the Columbus Blue Jackets, our journey towards trying to make it back to a third straight cup final. First period doesn't go particularly well. Yanni Gourde with the only goal. Second period, that's a little bit better. Ludman and Kasper Bjorkqvist, who again, big expectations, a lot of pressure on his shoulders with what he had shown us in the past. And Ludman, I mean, that second line had been doing very, very well for us. So it's not surprising to see him do what he just did there. We go to the third up by 1. We had them nearly doubled up in shots as this period started, but it doesn't matter. Alexei Toropchenko makes it 2-2. We trade power plays, nothing doing as we're halfway through the third, and Yanni Gourde scores again, and if I had to bet, that's going to hold up as the winner. Pierre-Luc Dubois makes it 4. Luukkonen with a nightmare performance, and the Blues take game 1. The Blue Jackets. Used to saying the Blues, you know. Be singing the Blues pretty soon. That is abysmal. 3 goals from terrible locations. The first Gourde shot was from the slot, or at least the high slot, call it what you will. That is not ideal at all. Not a great game from Luukkonen. Filatov, 43 saves, picking up where he left off in the first round. Damn it. Not ideal. I'm not going to panic yet and make lineup changes, even though we could. We'll hold off on that front. We'll go into game 2. If we lose here, though, all the panic moves. All of them. First period is scoreless. Outshot them 18-10, so we're still having trouble beating Filatov. Second period, that's not great. Glebov and Logan Brown, Rasmus Kupari gets one back. But we're down 2-1. Heading into the third, we have Luukkonen giving up goals from terrible angles. He needs to step up, and thankfully Tommy Ludman scores on the power play, because goals are going to come at a premium for us against a goalkeeper, a goaltendee of this caliber. So let's see here. Late power play for Columbus. You want to talk about goals from a bad angle? That's from the Rask spot. NHL 16 shout out right there. Are we going to overtime? Yes, we are. Tied at 2. 42 shots on the board. Just 2 goals, though. Filatov is a monster. Can we get the win here? We desperately need to. Falling down 2-0 in the series would be a disaster. Power plays wasted. Somebody on our team? I should clarify. I didn't clarify quickly enough. Alex Wenberg wins it for the Blue Jackets. We're down 2-0. The dream of making it to 3 straight finals, well, that's looking a little bit questionable, I would say. A rough start. I mean, 4 goals in 2 games on Filatov, all things considered. That's just not going to be enough. And Luukkonen, it's not good enough. A 9.25 isn't good enough, at least in this game. Jordan Binnington can win a Stanley Cup with like a 9.14 or whatever it was. We're not going to win without Luukkonen having a higher save percentage. The top line needs to be dismantled because they're not getting it done. The second line is probably just going to become the first line because they've been on point. 4 points for Lamala, 3 for Pirnez, just 2 for Bjorkqvist. And that fourth line just hasn't been where we need it. And again, the only real other option that we have is Antti Suomala, who wasn't great once we got him. So if I were to make changes here, I think, again, it's got to be dropping Simon Tyball, which is a nightmare scenario, really, because that means I think we're just going to bump up Rasmus Kupari, see what he can do. So Pirnez will be down to the fourth line. So that'll be the change there. And then do we want one more change to these lines, or is that enough? I think that'll be enough. I hope. So that's not ideal to have Simon Tyball down on the third line. And defensively, Tiervainen and Peltonen have been great, but Hikola and Juolevi, yet again, aren't getting it done. The issue is, Heinola and Tiervainen were great in the regular season, so really all I can do is just switch those two around, and hope that leads to a change. That is genuinely all I can do to hope that there's just something different going on there. So we'll see if that works. And just, I don't know. It's one of those wait and see kind of deals, isn't it? But I'm a little bit scared of what we're looking like right now. We go to Game 3 in Columbus. Desperate need of a victory here. Let's see if we can get one. First period, and we do get the opening goal. Mikko Rantanen scores, so that new second line works out there, unless it was a power play goal for Rantanen. Second period, and they get one back. It's Doug. Damn you, Doug. Friggin' Doug. Unbelievable. We go to the third, tied at 1. The Blue Jackets win this one. We are in a whole lot. Oh my God, lost him, toss him. We're in a whole lot of trouble here. We are in a whole lot of trouble. We do not have an answer. Wow. We don't have an answer for Filatov, and Luukkonen isn't getting it done. As good as we looked in round 1, unless there's a late goal to tie it here after the Lamala goal gets us within striking distance. Dubois with an empty netter. And the Blue Jackets are cruising. They are 7-0 in this postseason, and they are one win away from ending the dream of making it back to the Cup final for the 3rd consecutive year. And I don't know what to do with this team. I genuinely don't. The top line's delivering. Again, you'd like to see Capo Caco scoring more than he is. The third line did have points in that game. We got to change something else with the fourth line. And I think it'll probably be just let's take out Koivula and see if getting Suomela back into the lineup is good enough. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. I think he's a better center than Pirnez. He is. So I'll make that change. And Juolevi and Hikola have just been getting shredded. And that third pairing hasn't done well either. So we're going to go Tiervainen and Peltonen as our top pairing. And we'll go Juolevi and Pasi Tiervainen, who has a better shot. Harder shot goes to Juolevi. We'll put him on that side. And then between Hikola and Heinola, we'll put Heinola in a shooting spot. And that is the team that we're going to be relying upon. Luukkonen with that .924. Again, it's not bad, but it's not steal your way to the final good. And it's a rough spot to be in, so let's see what happens here. Game 4 is our season over. As soon as this series began, is it going to end that quickly? First period. Okay. Well, maybe it's a good thing my voice is feeling a little bit rocky and shaky right now, because it just would have been a whole lot of wasted effort. Because there's been no effort from our team. Second period, we get one back with Rantanen, but we're 20 minutes away from being swept. Thomas Hikola scores. We are tied. If Hikola scores, we have the lead. Can Luukkonen hold on? Power play chance here goes to waste. Another power play chance that also goes to waste, and Glebov ties it. Just put me out of my misery at this point. That would, yeah, okay, thank you. Ask and I shall receive. Oh my God, Rantanen scores the 5th goal of this period. Are we going to overtime? Yes, we are. All right, when it looks like we're done, 2 goals in 4 minutes. Rantanen scores to tie this game. We go to overtime. There will either be a 5th game back home, or the Blue Jackets will complete the sweep. What's it going to be? The answer is Game 5. Brad Lambert gets it. So it was looking pretty shaky when Langweeder scored. But Rantanen and Lambert in overtime. We score 5 goals in Game 4. The offense finally shows up, and we're on the board. There will be no sweep here. The goal now, of course, is to avoid the gentleman's sweep. Like, there you go, scamp. There's your win. Now get the hell out of the playoffs. I don't know if we have what it takes, though. We are staring down the barrel of the gun here and knowing that we have to reverse sweep Columbus, but we did hand them their first loss of the postseason, so we have that going for us. Is that what we needed to build upon the momentum? Let's find out. First period. Yikes. OEL and Keeler. Ludman scores again. Luukkonen giving up all kinds of outside goals. Second period, we're done. We're done. The gentleman's sweep will be completed. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen gets rocked over the course of these 5 games, I should say. Let's quick sim. That is an incredibly disheartening way for us to go down. We get dominated by Filatov and the Blue Jackets. There will not be a third straight finals appearance. We lose in 5 to the Columbus Blue Jackets in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and it's going to be fairly obvious what the issues were and who we're the most disappointed in. Lambert, Louis Ludman was amazing. Rantanen, it's tough to say he didn't pull his own weight, but a little bit more would have been nice. Capo, we need more than 1 goal. Lamala with 5, Pirnez, and then the big issue there is our number 1 center didn't show up. And again, someone like Kasper Bjorkqvist disappoints in the playoffs after he had done so well previously. Defensively, Hikola and Jolevi didn't show up, and the Heinola-Peltonen pairing wasn't as good as they were in the regular season. And then we have Luukkonen. And perhaps his time here is done. It's something to ponder heading into the postseason. What is the future here on the Espoo Eagles for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen? Again, we traded him to be a little bit further along in our development. And now it's at the point where he's not getting it done, and it makes you wonder, had we kept a certain goaltender, would we be better off? Luukkonen is still the highest rated goaltender, but there is an old friend in Florida who perhaps could get the job done. He's going to be the only one, of course. So maybe, just maybe, there is something to consider. Maybe, just maybe, there are changes on the horizon for this team. I don't want to be overly reactionary to our team not making it to a cup final, but you have to figure at this point, we're about 10 years into this, or at least getting close to it, and maybe the members of this core aren't exactly it. I think the obvious changes right now, I mean, obviously it sucks with the defense. We don't have many better options. But someone like Kasper Bjorkqvist is probably gone. So again, the bottom 6 is going to look quite different. And now you really have to question Kasper Simon-Tyval as a playoff performer. Outside of last year's run, he was okay when we lost to Anaheim. He was great when we lost to Calgary. And then this. A lot of questions heading into this next offseason. And again, as far as talent that's available in the drafts, it wasn't looking good the last time I remember. So it's still just trying to shift around the same pieces that we were aware of before. Top Finn is Kari Vitanen, who isn't great. He's okay. And you also have Hannu Asplund, who has a good shot at least. Theo Fleury comparison for the 17-year-old. And then Mika Haino, who, again, not great. It is going to be tough for us. You'd like to think with the same team we'll still be in a good spot. There's no real way to know for sure, is there? So, guys, we're going to end it there. Wish it could have been, again, with happier circumstances. But at least now we know. No Stanley Cup shot this year.